Hello guys, today me and Sultan have prepared a presentation for you guys about earthquakes and catastrophic events such as like earthquakes that has caused a lot of damage throughout the years. Uh, for example, but before that, I'm gonna explain what an earthquake is. So earthquakes are usually caused when rock underground suddenly breaks along a fault, causing elastic rebound. The edges of the plates along the fault get stuck, and when stress builds up, the plates will get displaced and then undisplaced, causing an earthquake. Okay, so an example of an earthquake is the Great Hanshin earthquake that happened in Japan, Hyogo, or else called as Kobe. Describe who or what lives in the earthquake zone. So I guess from the place, Japan, mostly Asians, Japanese from Hugo and Kobe.
Yep.
Yeah. And that is the scale map.
Um, what what are
So
earth plates or tectonic plates?
Earth, it's basically Earth's thin outer shell that's broken into pieces called tectonic plates. The plates fit together but they're not stuck in one place. They fit together. They're floating on the Earth's mantle, a really thick layer of hot flowing rock.
Yep.
These plates move because of
Mantle convection.
mantle convection. Yeah, sorry. Mantle convection. The basic driving force
That's
of plate
this
movement.
type. Yep.
Yeah. Mantle convection is very slow, creeping motion of Earth's solid circuit mantle caused by the convection currents carrying the heat from the interior to the planet's surface. This causes plate boundaries such as divergent, convergent, and transform
Yep. So
boundaries.
the Earth's core just heats up the mantle, which causes mantle convection.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think are the plates of the Great Hanshin earthquake, which causes the Great Hanshin earthquake?
Uh, the Great Hanshin earthquake happened between the Eurasian and Philippine plate, as you can see there.
Yep.
It was a convergent boundary
Here,
from in the picture.
Kobe, over
Uh,
here.
yeah, it was a convergent boundary from continental crust to oceanic crust
Yep, here.
because it went down. Yeah.
Yeah, the
The
Philippines
result,
sea plate.
yeah,
It's called
the Eurasian plate.
conduct.
The
Yes,
Eurasian
yes,
plate.
subducts.
A fact that now today Tokyo
Yeah.
might have an earthquake in the center of it.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, because the Pacific plate, it's now like it's going with the Philippine sea plate, so like
Yeah, it's close to like 3 boundaries.
yeah, it's close to boundaries.
All right.
It was the result of an east-west strike slip fault where they both interacted, where the Philippine plate subducted into the Eurasian plate.
Yep.
Yeah, as you can see also. Yeah.
So, another place that is very prone to earthquakes or which has a lot of earthquakes is California. California, like it experiences a lot of earthquakes. All right, that some that can even reach the magnitude of 7.9, which is extremely high. The reason why they are very prone to earthquakes or earthquakes are very common is because California is located on the San Andreas Fault, which is a transform boundary, meaning that this San Andreas Fault, the edges, which is the edges of the North American plate, slides past the Pacific plate in opposite direction. So it just slides past, and of course, it doesn't slide past smoothly. It's rough, as you can see in the picture. The roads are getting destroyed just like this.
Destroyed.
Imagine in the city. One example is the most recent example. Doesn't have a name, all right. But California, as I said, has about 10,000 earthquakes. However, they are usually just tiny earthquakes that can barely be felt. And the most recent one was one of those earthquakes that can barely be felt. It hit 10 kilometers south of Olancha. Now, this earthquake had a magnitude of 4.0. It
Not that
had,
much.
hmm? Yeah, not that much. It had no deaths and not much infrastructure damage, so it didn't cost the place a lot of money. However, it made landslides and liquefaction to happen. And this earthquake was in a radius of 250 kilometers, as you can see in the map. But the area
Not
of
that
California,
huge,
yeah,
but
not that
still.
many. The area of California, they are built with buildings that can withstand earthquakes. So the foundation is good enough to
Yeah,
withstand
I've
earthquakes.
seen like the building, like the structure of it
Yeah,
inside. You have like,
yeah, the
yeah,
foundation. Since the architects, they know that there are a lot of earthquakes. As I said, science has proven that
you might think
they,
it's a lot, but it's not actually that
yeah, even if the
harmful.
number is a lot, it doesn't mean that's destructive. Even though California experiences 10,000 earthquakes per year, it's not that destructive. Most of them are like a magnitude of 3 or magnitude of 4. However, the most recent destructive one was in the Ridgecrest earthquake with a magnitude of 7.1. Uh, it was really big that it made cracks in the surface. Like this is one of the areas of the Ridgecrest. This is
Yeah, it's big.
some scientists like studying it. Now this, oh my bad. Now this earthquake occurred in July 4th and 5th. So it was not just one earthquake. It was just continuous earthquake. Uh, in 2019, with sadly one death and 25 injured. The total damage is a lot, with a 5.3 billion dollars. Also with a radius of 250 kilometers and surprising amount of aftershocks with 4,000 aftershocks. Now let's head on to how we can avoid these earthquakes. Of course, there are a lot of procedures, a lot of things we need to do in order to stay safe in an earthquakes. Because earthquakes are not just shaking the ground; they cause other catastrophic things to happen, such as toppling buildings and bridges. They can trigger landslides, just as the recent California earthquake, tsunamis, and that they can trigger volcanoes also. Uh, there are other procedures to if you get what's called you're in a tsunami, but let's focus on what to do in an earthquake. uh, what what you have to keep in mind is in an earthquake you have to drop, cover, and hold on. Now both drop, cover, and hold on, you do this indoors and outdoors, but of course you have to do this in indoors, because in indoors, if you're in the house or if you're in a building, in your office, and you feel an earthquake, a lot of furniture are gonna drop down. Ceiling lamps and chandeliers on the roof, on the ceiling, can fall down and can be very dangerous, as they can hit your head and hit you, and or your friends, your family, anyone. So what to do is pretty simple. Just hide under a table or hide under durable cover. Maybe you're under your bed, under some pillows, under chairs, tables. Just stay protected. But when you are outdoors, it's way more dangerous, because in outdoors you have if you're in a high magnitude earthquakes, you are very prone for buildings to collapse on you, and on you. So you have no choice but to get into an open area. And keep in mind, there are still other high objects, such as street lamps, street signals, those objects that are placed high in a high place. So get in an open place and stay away from buildings, lamps, or anything high place. And if you're driving on outdoors, drive away from traffic. Don't stay on and don't stay under anything. Don't stay under bridges, because bridges are uh, most probably going to collapse in an earthquake. um, but if you are stuck inside and indoors, of course, you must have an earthquake kit to survive. But what should be included in an earthquake kit, you ask? Well, it's pretty much
Flashlights.
a lot of things, but it's kind
Yeah.
of obvious. So if you are in a high magnitude earthquake and like you're stuck in a building, it will most probably collapse, and you're probably going to stay there for a while, maybe a few days until evacuation. So you must keep in mind in an earthquake kit to have these objects. First is a flashlight. Of course, if it gets dark, you might use it. First aid kit, if you have if you're injured, if anyone is injured around you, you can help.
Mm.
Batteries
Water.
for your flashlight, batteries or like what's it called, a power bank to charge your phone.
Power.
Water, the essentials you
Nutrition.
must have in your
Water and food.
earthquake kit: water, food, and a radio. Water, you must have at least 1 gallon for each person. If you have a family, if you have six people in your family, 6 gallons doesn't matter, as long as it can last 3 days until you can evacuate from the area safely. Have water with you. And food, you must have non-perishable and easy to prepare food that can last for 3 days until evacuation. So maybe like canned food, or like fruits, or food packaged fruit.
Stuff that can stay for 3 days at least.
At least, yeah, like beef jerky, not like the food you have to cook with a stove. Next is a radio. You need a radio because I highly doubt there will be any signal and any Wi-Fi around you, because it's probably destroyed by the earthquake and by the rubble. So you have to have a radio, so you can listen to what the people will help you, like the government will help you to evacuate. So listen for instructions. Your personal documents. So if you get out of the earthquake safely, you have documents that can back you up, and the map of the area. So if there is no one to help you, which I highly doubt, have at least the map of the area so you can evacuate yourself.
Yeah.
So you can know your surroundings. Well, I think that's pretty much it for our presentation. I hope you guys learned something. I don't know, but thank you for watching.
Thank you.